Hey, let's do it.
What is it? I'm Lex, he's Shane.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Cheers.
It's cool.
All right, so Java has
Gotta love
been
Java.
released. Yep, their quarterly.
Thank you, Oracle.
The quarterly release. If you have any questions, by all means, throw down.
Yeah.
Ask them on the chat window, or
Please stump the chumps.
yeah,
We did
whatever
that
you want.
once before, didn't we? Yeah.
It's not hard.
That's not this week.
It's not hard to do, yeah.
I guess we could do that on a weekly basis.
Want to stump us? Just post a question.
Post something, yes. You want to stump me, make it a lot of words in it, spell it.
Yeah, last time Lex got stumped on the hygiene question.
Hey, I use soap once a year, maybe.
Pass.
Pass on that. Pass that question.
Pass. All right, so let's talk about Java. Let's go ahead.
Okay.
Let's do this thing. First of all,
Java 71 and 72 are out.
correct. So anticipating, well, number one, if you haven't done this yet, go out to the package library, grab Java. If you're going to build your own package, by all means, feel free to do that. I'm going to go out to
I still like saying roll your own. It's a lot more fun. Hey, so Shane, notice we got 71 there, man.
Mm-hmm. Why not 72?
Yeah, why not 72?
Okay. Well, 71 is what's known as the CPU, or the critical patch update.
Okay.
And that's what Oracle recommends that most Java users use. 72 is known as the PSU. That's the patch set update. That includes all the critical updates as well as some non-critical bug fixes.
Yeah.
If you ever want to know, just do a Google here.
Google foo that bad boy.
And Java update, or Java 8 PSU versus
CPU.
Actually, I didn't even know Java 8 there, but if you look at this, the first document, the first site picked up, you can see. You want to zoom in there, JJ?
Which Java should I use?
Yeah, most users should use the CPU release, but use the PSU according to Oracle. If you have a particular issue, if you have users that have issues that are fixed by the PSU and not the CPU.
Here's the thing: if you're wondering about it, odds are you need the CPU.
Yeah, just stick with that. So we're offering 71. Once again, that's what Oracle recommends most users run. We're offering 71. If you want to build 72, go out to Java. Go to the Java site, download the
Offline, that's right.
Windows installer, and
Probably download ours and then replace the install package. It should work.
yeah, if you can use the package, and the package library is a great cheat sheet by all means. So we're going to grab this now. We're going to do the Java 8. We'll also import the 64-bit, but for the most part, most users are going to want the 32-bit, even on a 64-bit computer.
It needs to match your browser. Okay, most browsers are 32-bit unless you're developing stuff, I guess.
Yeah, and if you're using, obviously, there's a lot of Java apps that don't even use the browser anymore.
Yeah.
Chrome no longer supports the Java plugin.
True.
So,
Hey Shane, the other thing I just want to bring up, we got that alternate package out there, and I know we talk about this a lot, but just so everybody knows, that alternate you should only use that on installs that don't work, that will fail.
yeah.
And it's just because that thing, it's like full contact. It's like the UFC version of installing Java.
Full contact.
Eye gouging, the whole bit.
We can tell from the downloads. We see the number of downloads of the different packages, and quite a few people grab the alternate. The alternate is really should be used when on targets that fail.
Yeah.
The regular one. The regular we do the regular uninstall the previous versions. We do the install. The alternate, we just start ripping registry keys out that generally have prevented or historically prevented installations of Java.
And because of that, if you do have something installed and we're just ripping stuff out, there could be remnants left. So, it's cleaner to use the regular.
Yeah, it is. Well, this is a slow download. Looks like it's getting hit pretty hard right now. Sorry,
Wow,
guys.
a lot of people downloading today.
No worries. We're going to go. open up PDQ inventory. Obviously, it's not required that you use inventory, but if you do, it's going to make this a lot easier. If you have the collection library, I'm going to expand that under runtimes. You'll see Java, JRE. We're going to go into Java 8. And you can see these are the machines that have the latest version. So we've talked about 71 and 72. In the collection library, if you have either 71 or 72, you're considered the latest version. And that's also how Oracle looks at it.
And we'll show you both of those, actually. So right at the top of that collection, you'll see...
in the description?
Yep. The description up
Might
there
want to
says...
zoom in there, JJ.
You got the...
Yeah, it's a Java 8 version, 8071 or higher. So anyway, if you do have 72, that's fine as far as the collection library is concerned. You're still going to show up as the latest as well as 71. Yep. And then, of course, here's the machines that have Java 8, the 32-bit Java 8, but they're an older version, and that's kind of what we're gonna target these machines today. All right, so we've downloaded this first package. This is a Java 8 update 71. There's an older version 60. I'm just going to move that over to my old packages, or I could delete that altogether.
Yeah, keep it clean.
Yeah, why not? All right, so let's just quickly open this up. Take a peek at what we're doing.
A couple things you need to know with this. When you deploy this, it is going to kill browsers. We want to just keep it a nice, clean install. So, like I like to do midday, wait till everybody's surfing the net at lunch, launch it out, show them who's boss.
We no longer kill Chrome since, as you know,
Yeah.
aforementioned Chrome does not support Java anymore. So, yeah, we'll kill IE and Firefox and Opera. And of course, any running Java processes.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is just kind of a best practice. We've tinkered with this in the past of not doing this, but historically, we've seen too many.
The number of failures goes up.
Not just failures, corrupt Java. It doesn't. Yeah, it's one thing to fail and say, "Oh, I can't do it," and it's another thing altogether just to
corrupt
crap
it.
the bed.
Then we have to use the alternate to fix that bad boy.
Yeah. So we do this. Once again, if you don't want to, you can import this and disable that step. To disable a step, it's simple as right-clicking, unchecking enabled,
There you go.
and it will not run that step. Anyway,
Have fun with your end users. Send that out in the middle of the day.
we do uninstall Oracle introduces a Java 8. I don't know. I have to look at my notes. I think it was right around update 20. They introduced this where if you just do an upgrade of Java 8, it will install alongside a previous Java 8 update.
That's just...
It's known, it's how they do this by default. You're supposed to be able to turn that off, and even the switches that they offer to turn that off doesn't do it. So we actually uninstall the previous Java 8s, including 72. So if you have a machine that somebody put update 72 and you want to get that down to your 71
keep it uniform.
you can deploy this. It will uninstall 72 as well as the other known Java 8 versions. And then we'll install 71. Now, the alternate, we use the MSI. We extract, in the alternate package, we extract the MSI and run that. In this regular Java 8, we no longer do that. We just use the EXE.
Grab the EXE, yep.
And honestly, it's because...
Java's cleaned it up. Or Oracle has cleaned that up.
It has, yeah. We see a greater success rate than we used to from the EXE. So anyway, as Lex mentioned, if you want to do 72, download the offline. Use this as a cheat sheet. Just even replace step 3 with the 72 update if you want. And then there's, of course, on 64-bit machines, how we're doing that. So let's go ahead and kick this off, right? I'm gonna close
I'll
this
drink to
window.
that. Then
Once again, if you guys have any questions, by all means, throw them down. I'm going to hit Control-D, which will deploy. And
let's choose targets from deploy inventory, right? Or excuse me, PDQ inventory. Apparently, I've been drinking a little bit. Ooh.
Lex is getting sauced.
Working on it. I am working on it.
We'll do that.
All right, so we're going to browse inventory. So we've gone to the collection library here. You can see Java 8, 32-bit old. These are some targets that we want to do. We'll just grab a...
Smack that double arrow there and we grab them all, but that would kind of not be a good idea today because we got guys testing old versions still.
Yeah, I just like to grab a handful of these.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, just so you guys all know, it looks like names. Those are actually computers that I named after, things that we've been watching around here lately. So,
except for Abraham. I'll never forgive you for that. Abraham's the last name of a girl. Lex mentioned once, hey, Shane, who did you like in high school? And he named
Tell
some
me a
girls
girl
he
that
liked.
wouldn't give you a time of day in high
give me some
school.
girls.
So
So
I
I
started
started
naming
listening,
machines.
I liked Jana Abraham, and I really liked it. And all of a sudden, these computers start
Start
popping up. I don't want to be reminded of
Girls that didn't
girls
give you the
that
time of day.
I couldn't score with. Jeez. Anyway, so cheers. I'm going to go ahead and hit deploy. Now, I am going to choose the post-deployment notification.
So basically, that's going to send you an email.
It's going to send me an email. Mhm. We have webcasts on that, but
Again, set that up in preferences. So.
Yep. And we're going to deploy as Quintana, which is an administrator. Yada yada yada. And we're not going to schedule it. We're just going to deploy it now. And remember, while we're waiting, I'm going to go to the preferences.
Make sure to deploy.
If you look
settings.
under deployments, I've got the scan after deployment. I'm actually going to change that from standard to applications.
Odds are the hardware has not changed since
Yeah.
we've installed this. So
Applications.
Will that happen right after these ones run? So
Yeah, after these, that's a good question, JJ. So I've changed it on the fly during the middle of the deployment. Basically, once these computers finish their deployments, it just checks back with PDQ
Preferences.
deploy in the preferences in the database and says, hey, am I supposed to scan? And if so, what scan profile? So we chose applications because that runs a little faster than the
Yeah.
standard one, which scans, as Lex mentioned, hardware and services and things that generally don't change. Question? Yeah, rock on.
what does Chrome use now instead? Chris R.
Well, Chrome doesn't use Java
Doesn't-
at all.
doesn't,
Yeah, they've Google let Oracle know. There was a little
I think they gave him the middle finger.
there was
Is that-
a
can I say
little,
that?
little game of chicken.
Yeah.
Basically, Google has told Oracle, if you want to run Java in our browser, here's the things you can do. You just can't use the old MP API plugin. But so many people now just use applications outside of the browser that are just Java apps. But if you look at what Oracle states on their website about Chrome, if you need to run Java in a web browser in Chrome, the recommendation is to use Firefox.
Yep.
So
Use a different browser.
Firefox or IE. So that's pretty much it. The answer is if you use Chrome and you're dead set on it, you're not going to use Java
Yeah.
unless you use an older version of Chrome.
Yeah, that's true.
And that older version goes back to before September of last year.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, we're kicking these off. Now if we go, so Cunningham is finished. If we come over here to the Java 8, you should start seeing new machines popping into here because we said to scan after, and these are the machines that have it. So now, I mean, it's one thing to deploy Java. I think that there's probably a handful of you that also want to say, I've got certain configurations of Java that I need to enforce. Now, we have a webcast that we've done before on centrally managing Java. A lot of people use, group policy to enforce this, or, if you want to from PDQ deploy, there's certainly ways you can do that. In fact, we can even show you that right now. Let's go to, did I deploy? I don't think, one second here. Yeah, there's childs. I like childs. While we're doing this, I'm going to push this out to childs real quick. Childs is actually the name of a teacher, 7th grade.
kidding.
Yeah, he taught
teacher.
math. He taught math and science. There was this one dude named Keith. What a tool! In 7th grade, I had seventh period with Mr. Childs.
Dude, I have a hard time remembering 2 weeks ago. How can
And
you
this
remember
kid,
7th grade?
this kid named Keith, what a tool. He told everybody he had a bag of Coke. And he was sitting right behind me. I turned around and said, I'm 7th grade, I'm 12. You got cocaine? He goes, yeah. And he pulls out this baggie and he lays out a rail and snorts it. He snorts it right in front of me. No, dude, it was laundry detergent.
Oh man.
He starts to scream. Mr. Childs runs up and is like, what's going on? And I said, he just snorted Coke.
What school did you
And-
go to in 7th grade?
I'm telling
Like
the
drag
truth.
high or what?
Same
So
as yours.
this is once again my science teacher. He and math. He put his finger in there and tasted it, and I just hear him go, "Oh my God, it's lye!" And he grabs Keith, takes him out, goes to the hospital. Saw Keith a few days later. He didn't die, but this kid. I just remember those big thick granules. I didn't know anything. I was like, "Okay, I guess it's Coke." Anyway, child. We're deploying the child.
In honor of him. Cheers.
Yeah, he died. Sean sent me a
Oh, no kidding.
an obituary. Yeah, he sent me an obituary link like 2 years ago saying, hey, your old teacher child's died. Anyway, rock on. So let's go out to...
I don't know where to go after that
Yeah, don't
comment.
worry
I'm
about
just
it.
standing here going, really? Yeah, let's hit a question, yeah.
Well, while we're hitting the question, I'm going to come over to...
Can you schedule an auto deployment to deploy Java 8 and then Java 8 alternate on devices that fail more than X times?
Oh, that's a really good
is a
question.
good
Hey,
question.
Brian. The answer is no. We don't have that logic in there. We don't have that logic in there to do that. So basically what I would recommend, do the Java 8, and if you see those machines that fail in auto deployment, you'll be able to see in the deployment history. Those that fail, then just grab those computers and deploy the alternate. But that's a good question.
That is a good question.
Yeah. Might be a good feature request. Put that feature request in and we will ignore it promptly.
Forthwith.
Yeah, let's see, do we have, yeah, so child. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go out to this computer. Let's do a remote desktop here to child's.
Okay, so take us with, what are you going to be doing on this,
Well,
man?
I'm going to go out, we just deployed Java
Okay.
to this guy, Java 8.
We're going to
Update
verify it's
71.
working by going to, was it java.com/verify?
See, I've got this. Yep, I'm going to go out and just run a Java, I'm going to go out to just a site that has a little Java applet.
Okay.
All right. Notice applications blocked by Java security. So there are some of you who are going to say, I want to be able to maintain an exception site or an acceptable sites list. Let's do this. So number one, we cannot run this site here. I'm going to go out to the control panel in the programs. Just you don't have to do this. I'm showing you the
This
issue
is one
here.
place you can do this, yeah.
So if you go to security, you can see we've set this to run high, yada, yada. The exception site list is not there. If you want to centrally enforce this, once again, you can do this. We've got recommend that you go out and look at our
Yeah, watch the
old
video that
webcast.
I made, yeah.
But I've got a Java configuration central here. And all this does is copies this deployment.config from a file server.
Out to the Java directory.
And if you go out and look at this, pardon me.
We're going to go grab that file so you can see what we're going to put in there.
Yep, very good. So you can see the deployment config. I'm going to edit this. And you can see that we're saying, hey, run your scroll. Hey, JJ, will you scroll in there, bro? JJ's cutting out a big fat rail of laundry detergent right now.
The lie!
He's doing a bump of Tide. Okay, so if you can see what we've done in this case, we've said we've got a deployment.properties file.
Yep.
And I love this. I love how Oracle refuses to do things configurations in the registry. They still have that Unix Linux mindset where configurations are all done from files. Yeah. That actually turns Lex on.
It does, actually.
As he's a Linux guy. Lex is turned on.
I need a drink. I need a drink.
So anyway, the deployment.properties, this is where you can specify the properties that you want or the configuration of Java that you want. And here we've just simply specified that this exists on a server named token in a share named Java Central, deployment.properties.
That's the name of the file.
And we're saying, is this mandatory? Yes. And all the syntax you can find on Java's website. And let's look at that deployment.properties file. Notice here we're saying the security level is high, the security code, the mixed code is high to run, etc. You'll see this. But notice we've got the exception sites list. That points to
File in the same area, yeah.
Same area, yep. I'll open that up.
Now, the nice thing,
Exception.site.
again, this is on a file server, so if you want to maintain this for all your machines, one easy spot to do it.
Yep. And there's that path that we tried to hit earlier. So I'm going to deploy this out to childs. Remember, we just failed on that. And there's also a way that, here we're pointing to a file server using a UNC path. You can also copy these files and enforce it locally to run out of your Windows directory. And then that will allow computers that are, maybe someone takes it home, they can still hit their sites because they can't hit your file server. There's also a way, I've never done this, but there's supposed to be a way where you can reference a website. to pull those configuration files down.
So again, you can read up on that on Java. They've got good documentation on how to set that up.
So this was successful. So if we go back into Java now in Childs, take a peek at security, notice there's those sites in the exception site list. Notice how it blocked that out. I cannot change that because we blocked that out in the properties file. So now if I go back in to run that, go to that site, I said there was a mixed code setting in there to hide run. There you go.
There we go.
It's running. It's all good.
Othello.
The best technology 1999 can bring. So anyway, that's one way you can centrally manage your Java configurations. It's one thing. I mean, it's a huge thing for people just to even be able to deploy Java to all their computers. But the follow-on, to that is, okay, now I've got this done. The package library, you guys have built this. It's great. I can deploy it. Now I have to configure this the way I want. And, we've given you that. We've given you
new tool, man.
just some ways of doing that. So honestly, look at that old webcast. Annie, or JJ, will you tell Annie to, if she can find that link, maybe to post it on the chat site.
For which one? I'm sorry.
The configuring Java.
Hey, JJ, we're doing a webcast right now.
Paying
How's it
attention,
going?
buddy?
Sorry, I was doing a line of laundry detergent.
Cut me out another line.
Get into my head. All right, I'll let her know.
We've also turned into a Tom Waits song over here. All right, so do we have any other questions out there?
This one's yours, man.
You say that as you're like the waiter that comes up after you take a big bite of the linguine, asks you how it is. We have several packages that we only modify the parameters of the install step. I would like to auto-deploy these. Any way to change these parameters on an auto-deploy from Brian C? Hey, Brian. No, there's not.
Next time, contemplate a little bit.
No. We looked at ways of doing this, in the next version of deploy, how can we allow people to change certain things about these packages for auto-deploy? One of the concerns we had is, we build these packages. If you import them, obviously you can create the schedules and change them as you want. But on the auto-deploy, we know that there's, people are going to be just kind of set and forget, and we just did not want to be the reason why these things would fail.
Yeah.
So we were thinking, how can we allow certain things to be changed and have it live through multiple versions? And since packages change, sometimes new steps have to be created. We kind of ran into a headache of pretty soon someone could just disable everything, and then auto-deployment would say it was successful, but nothing was installed. So anyway, in Java, or in Deploy 8, the next version, it's in beta right now, there are ways that you can do a pre and post steps, but you cannot change the actual content of the package. You can do stuff before and after. So
it does open a lot of options, but changing the packages still.
At this point, Brian, what I would recommend is on those machines that you need to modify the parameters, simply import it and then create your schedules, and just keep your schedules up to date. So when a new version comes out, you can keep the same schedule. So a new package comes out, you can. I'll show you really quick.
Keep the schedule. You just attach the new package and remove the old one. So you don't have to rebuild it, which is a nice feature again. But again,
so we
doing your modifications.
Let's look at Java 8 update 65. So I'll just create a quick schedule on this one.
Funny story about schedules. Remember when we were at that FETC conference?
Yes.
I launched Java out to everything overnight, just showing how to do a schedule.
He was doing a conference, and he said, "Okay,
just
we're going to go ahead and
how
show
to do
you
it.
A schedule," but he had set it against all of our
Turned
production
it
machines.
off. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Next morning, I'm getting calls at like.
Remember how I mentioned Keith as a tool for
Hey, easy. JJ, line me up some laundry detergent, buddy.
I'm just going to type in one computer here. Okay, so we've got Java 8. We specified an old version of Java here. So I'll say OK. And then I'm going to go to this schedule, open it up. You're going to see the package that's assigned to this is an older version of Java. So when the next version comes out, Brian, simply just attach to schedule and go down to your new Java that you've imported.
Grab your latest and greatest, the one you modified.
Do that. We can move this old one out. Say okay. And now that new one's there. And the computer history resets. Computer history is based per computer.
Per version.
Yep. Per package or version in this case. So here we've got a new, and then you can just, that same schedule will kick off. Yeah, it's a couple extra steps for you, but you know, it was a balancing act. Trust me, Adam and I spent many nights over many bottles of scotch trying to discuss this. So.
Is that what you guys do when you're drinking scotch? Discussing IT. Huh?
Of course. Do we have any other questions, JJ? Yeah. I have an issue where the certificate is not trusted, therefore it is blocked from running for a printer remote panel. Is there a way to force allow? I have to use 7-51 to access the remote panel. Okay, so he has to use, when he says they have to use 751, is he talking about Java 7 Update 51? From Glenn?
I will verify that, but probably. Let's just assume.
We'll
that's the
assume it
case right
is
now.
at this point, yeah.
The answer to the force allow, the answer to that is you're going to need to look for some different properties. Let me see if I've got that link somewhere. Java configs. Java 8 configs.
It used to be Java 7 configs. If he's doing 750.
Well, if he's talking about he wants to upgrade. I mean, if you're still talking about Java 7, then
yeah, do the 7 config.
yeah, I'd basically just change it to 7 there, I believe. But if you, I did a search for this. This is a Java 8 properties or something like that, and you can see. I'm going to scroll down slowly. You can see all these different properties down here. Yeah, you can, and there's so many. It's probably one of these where you can force the trust. That's probably where you're going to look for. Sorry.
I said he's confirming yes about.
It is 7.
Okay,
7
so
to update 51.
there is a Java. There's also one for Java 7 configs. It's pretty much just changing that 8 to 7, and you can see the properties here. I'm not an
That's
expert.
where you're going to find it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
I mean,
an
there's
expert on.
so many things to change there. That's where you should look.
There really are so many. There's probably JSE certs or trusted certs. That's the third one down right there. It might be. I would look at something like that. Force that centrally, and you'll probably get that to work. That's what I would do. I would tinker with that. There's a lot of properties available with Java, obviously, because so many different use cases. There's just honestly just hundreds of thousands of different use cases.
This
that
side will
people
be your
have.
friend, man. Any more, JJ? Questions? Okay.
All right, rock on.
So, stretch.
How do you like the new studio, man?
How do I like it? I love it, except for the fact that like if I look at the green screen behind me, I get
shut
dizzy.
up. Is there a way to add? This is from Jason. Is there a way to add a step for the end user to cancel or postpone a deployment to their machine? We do get this question quite often. We are all planning on. The answer is no, Jason. Hi, and not at this point.
You know, you need to think a little longer.
There's not a native way. Now we do have some customers that have written some scripts that they actually kick off in a step. So they've written some programs or scripts that will display a window to users saying, "Do you want to allow this?" And then if
Depending on the exit code.
Depending on the exit code, they just mark that in that step. The success code. They say if they say no, that might return an exit code of 1, and they make sure that 1 is not listed in the success codes, and then it fails at that point.
Yep.
There's not a native way. We're planning on offering something like this, but it would most likely be the result of an optional agent, and that's on the drawing board right now. We've gone over this a couple of times, but
Lots of discussion there.
yeah, with the agent, if once again it's going to be optional, we will never force. We don't have no plans of forcing an agent. I shouldn't say never say never, but we have no intention of forcing an agent. One of the things that so many of our customers love is the fact that we are agentless or
And just simple to use. Yep.
simple to use. We can get this up and running in minutes. But for those that need that extra reach, an agent will help. So if we do an optional agent, most likely that would be an option, and that is to allow the end users to defer, basically. So
Stay tuned for that.
yeah, or You know, I think on our forum, somebody posted a script that they had to say, "Hey, this is how I allow users to do this." So,
Yeah.
any other questions?
I usually have to deploy packages like this off hours. Why would you do that? That's my first question, Chad. Suggestions for troubleshooting. Wake-on-LAN for computers that don't wake up. Wake-on-LAN is enabled in the BIOS. Chad B.
Hi, Chad.
Hey.
Okay, so you're going to use Wake-on-LAN. That means that, number one, if you've got Wake-on-LAN, if you're using Wake-on-LAN with PDQ deploy, that means you need to have the same computer in PDQ inventory. So you have to have inventory because inventory, maintains.
The MAC address that's necessary.
Yep, it maintains the MAC address. We also grab the IP address from there because we use that IP address to send what's known as a directed broadcast.
Yeah.
So if Wake-on-LAN is enabled in the BIOS, you also have to make sure that it's enabled in the NIC settings of each computer. So there's two levels on the computer. There's the BIOS, that's a big one. And then you can have the BIOS enabled, but the NIC doesn't allow
just ignores
Wake-on-LAN or the
ignores
magic packet.
Yep.
So once that's enabled, then you also need to make sure that we send Wake-on-LAN out on a broadcast that's usually blocked by a company's routers. So we also do a directed broadcast that's not as loud. We just say, based on the last IP address known for this computer, we go to that router and say, hey, just broadcast to your subnet, or this particular subnet.
It does take care of most of those, but yeah.
But then a lot of companies don't even allow that. So we do have another, depending on the version of inventory and the version of deploy that you're running, another way of doing this is if there's a computer on that remote subnet that's online, we will contact that computer under the hood and say, wake up this system.
This other machine, yeah.
There's a lot, when you're talking about Wake-on-LAN, there's a lot of external dependencies.
Yeah.
I would say check the NIC properties, and then you might have to contact your server team and buy them a bottle of scotch or something like that to say, hey, can we allow waking up? One thing that some network heads will do is if you just say, listen, I know you don't want to allow directed broadcasts or something, but will you allow the Wake-on-LAN broadcasts just from this IP
machine.
address and the IP address of your
console,
PDQ
yeah.
deploy PDQ inventory console? So that's what I would look at.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for those who posted questions. Thanks. If you do have any follow-up questions, by all means, send them in to Annie. I think she'll probably give you that email address or something. Or you can always hit our forum, support@adminarsenal.com, and post a question there. Until then, I'm Shane.
I'm Lex. You guys rock on.
See ya.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining today, and thank you for all the great questions. If your question was featured, if you'll please email me at webcast@adminarsenal.com. I'll get you hooked up with some swag. If you have questions you think of later, you can always hit up our support site, support.adminarsenal.com. We'll see you all next Thursday.